Hello everyone again. So this was going to be a really quick video on an overview between a full auto Uzi and a semi-auto Uzi. I apologize that I hadn't been posting any videos. I've been away from home. I was in California for 2.5 months, and because I was gone for so long, couldn't upload any new content. And this was just a kind of easing back into uploading some more videos on YouTube type of video. Going to keep it short and simple. And then later this week or next week, I'll be going to the range and getting a ton of range footage. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned for that to come. But really simple. Let's start off with the full auto Uzi. We can see this is a converted Uzi, so it's not a proper conversion. This was originally started off as a semi-auto. It was made by IMI in Israel, imported over in the 80s, converted kind of halfway, and I'll kind of point those out as well. So let's start by showing the weapon is clear. We're going to have an empty magazine, and then we're going to flip her over. It's an open bolt system, so if the bolt is closed, there's like a 99.9% chance that it is safe, but we will depress that, open it up. We can see that it's empty. Let's flip that forward. So here we are looking at the internals. Let's go ahead and open this up. Pop that open. We've got our bolt right here. Making sure that this can come up. Yeah, let's move right there. You can see that there's nothing right here, allowing this full chunk of steel to slide back and forth. Again, it's all locked from the grip safety, but you can see that it locks back like that, and it can go back even further. So if I go ahead and gently move that forward, I'll take this out. You'll see that the full auto bolt has a fixed firing pin right there, and there's no slot cut in the actual bolt itself. We also have a very small buffer, and there is your recoil spring. So let's go ahead and set this aside. Since this is a halfway converted example, we still have a barrel restrictor ring. A factory full auto would not have this barrel restrictor ring, and the barrel profile would be slightly different. In addition, this feed ramp is a specific one to the semi-auto variants that were produced by IMI. And the shape of this ejector here, because it's rounded and it's not slanted, that means it's a Model A versus a Model B. So that's the interior of a full auto Uzi. I'll set it aside over here, try to get it out of frame. And here we have, if I can turn it over, here we have the semi-auto. So just like before, we're going to drop the magazine. Now this is a closed bolt system, so there could be a round in the chamber, and we want to check that. It is clear. And now the difference between the full auto variant and the semi-auto variant is you can see that the bolt has a slot cut into it, whereas the full auto does not. That's for a blocking bar, which is to prevent the use of full auto bolts from firing in a semi-auto Uzi. Additionally, there is now a striker assembly since I cocked the gun. There's a striker assembly back here that is spring-loaded, ready to go. And when I pull the trigger, it's going to launch forward and make a loud clack. Now that that's forward, we can safely take apart the firearm and take a look at the inside. So let's pop open the dust cover there. From the top, it does look pretty much the same. We're going to take this. It can be a little tricky. So there's that. That's the striker assembly. And in addition, we have this, if I can get it, this buffer. Buffer really wants to stay in there. So looking at the two of them, if I move this out of the way, looking at the two of them, you can see that they look pretty much identical. This does have the slanted ejector for whatever reason. That's just what this is the Century Arms model, by the way, and I believe the Century Arms UC9 receivers were built by McKay. So the receiver flat was bent and I think welded by McKay. I don't know who added the ejector. That could have been Century Arms or McKay. I don't really know, but it wasn't me. It was already like that. But the biggest difference here is going to be that blocking bar, and that's for that slotted bolt to slide through, whereas a full auto bolt, no slot, it'll just get jammed up in there. Other than that, the barrel restrictor rings are in place, so these will both take the same barrels, even though this is a full auto, and they have full auto barrels and semi-auto barrels. This one will use a semi-auto barrel simply because the restrictor ring was never removed, and the feed ramp is the same in both. Set these down off camera. And now we can just take a look at the bolt assembly between both of them and the recoil springs. So this is the full auto bolt. Has the little, I think they would call that a Jewish star stamping, so it just means it was made by IMI. Someone can correct me if I'm incorrect on that, but I believe that means this is an official IMI bolt, not an FN bolt or any other manufacturer. It looks like a Hebrew mark there as well. So here we have the fixed firing pin there, and then if we look at the semi-auto, this bolt assembly was made by McKay Industries. So there is an empty hole there, which is where this guy fits in. You gotta line them up. There we go, now I can see it. So you can see it's basically when you cock it ready to go, it's gonna stay back here. When you pull the trigger, it's gonna slam forward. Firing pin protrudes from there, sets off the round. So it's a much different assembly. Semi-auto Uzis actually do utilize a shorter recoil spring, but you'll notice that it is the same as my full auto. That's because McKay Industries wanted to make the most compatibility with Uzi kits, and if you buy a Uzi kit, basically chopped up pieces that have been torched and demilled according to ATF standards, they don't have semi-auto recoil springs. They only have full auto. So McKay Industries actually milled out their bolt to fit the full auto recoil spring as opposed to a semi-auto, which is a little bit shorter and fatter. So that's about it. I just wanted to give a quick overview on the differences between them. I can go more in depth. Oh my gosh, this is hard to get in there. I can go more in depth in another video, but Jesus, there we go. Go more in depth in another video describing the differences if you'd like, but this is just a quick overview. Hi, I'm still alive, thank you for watching my videos type of video to YouTube. And like I mentioned previously, I'll have a range day coming up shortly. I'm going to film a bunch of content from full auto stuff to 9mm PCCs to whatever else I have laying in my safe, probably some revolvers, pistols type stuff, and just overall fun stuff to watch. So thank you again for watching. See you soon.